We are going to learn fourth profitable direction of pleasant way with quick realization, Sukhapaṭipada Kippāviññā. So in the website there is this, it is explained, Bhikkhu, what is the pleasant means and quick realization. Here Bhikkhu, certain one secluded from sensual pleasures, secluded from unwholesome states, he enters upon and abides in the first jhana, which is accompanied by initial application and sustained application. So there is this thought and examination. So with what is this thought and examination over here? That is the thought of renunciation, thought of non-malevolence, thought of non-harm. When you do that one, there is this rapture born of that one, the rapture and happiness born of seclusion. So that person is happy about the rapture, but he must be paying sort of a price for that one. That is, he has to sort of see, go through these 32 parts of the body hairs, hair, nail, teeth, skin and so on. So then that person would be that, keep in mind, when we say hair of the body, they are all included in the excrement urine board. So then he does not have to sort of have the initial application and sustained application. So with the subsiding of initial application and sustained application, he enters upon and abides in the second jhana, which has the internal confidence, the ajjattan sampasadana and unification of mind, Cetaso ekodibhava, is without initial application and sustained application and has rapture, happiness born of concentration. So this is the second jhana concentration. He doesn't have initial application, sustained application. That is, regarding the body, he does not have, but regarding the feeling and so on, he can have initial application, sustained application. Now he is happy with the rapture, but there is a problem. The problem is, you feel that one physically. So if you feel something physically, then you might get attached to it. Having seen this peril of rapture, he is happy that one to be fade away. So with the fading away as well of rapture, he abides equanimous and mindful, clearly comprehending. He experiences happiness with body. He enters upon and abides in the third jhana, of which the noble ones declare, he is equanimous, mindful, one who abides happily. So that is the third jhana that you feel from your face, and you are happy, and you more and more you understand the dependent origination, this happiness will increase. Now he finds that there is a problem here as well, because Buddha is telling it is suffering. Now there we are talking about pleasure. So that means it is temporarily ceasing of this suffering part, pain part. That's why we do have the pleasure. So now pleasure is temporary thing that it will cease and the actual suffering will come to arise. So then he get the equanimity. So with the abandoning of pleasure and pain, and with the previous passing away of joy and displeasure, the bhikkhu enters upon and abides in the fourth jhana, which is neither painful nor pleasant, and include purification of mindfulness due to equanimity. So the pleasure and the pain all are gone over there. So this is stable. He abides relying on these 5 powers of a trainer, such as the powers of faith, shame, remorse, effort and wisdom. The 5 faculties of faith, effort, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom are sharp in him. As a result, he realizes the destruction of desires quickly with successive leading. Because to this is said the pleasant means and quick realization. So the Venerable Sariputta destroyed cankers using this method. Venerable Moggallana destroyed his cankers using the painful way with quick realization. Why is it called painful way, and why this one is pleasant means. You see, compared to the feeling, the volitional formation, sanskara, is pleasurable. For example, when the carpenter is, cutting down wood pieces, his hand is aching and so on. But he like this, this woodworking. So that is this compared to feeling, that volitional formations are pleasurable. That's why it's saying pleasant means. So when you do that one, then you come to this. This is the Sukha Pratipada, that is pleasant way with quick realization. So you come to the fourth jhana. So this fourth jhana concentration, you can see that little while ago we were looking at this diagram where you are saying if it is impermanent, subject to suffering, and it is changing, is it befitting for me to regard as mine? So by doing that one also you can come to fourth jhana. And there is another way, and a very powerful way to arrive at fourth jhana. That is done from this meditation, for nutriment, suffering meditation. So there we learn 3 meditations on the second day. So there is a 4th meditation which we are going to learn. So you can see there is this physical nutriment, and we spin with barb of lust, and then we going bad way through will. In other words, we establish our consciousness in a canal of urine and excrement. By doing that one, we ended up with birth. Now your body, subject to baby type body, subject to aging, the sickness and death. And you are in the mind-made body, you have not eaten, so then you have pain over here. So for the first part, first column, you can see 2 answers, birth and pain. The pain contacted by the mind, that is contact as nutriment, then what you are ending up with, sort of aging over here. So, but along the way you can see when it is contacted, you are thinking it is pleasurable. Now let us analyze that part. The pain is the one getting contacted, you think is pleasurable. How do you get pleasure? Maybe you are going on a, on a street, then you see a beautiful man or a beautiful woman. Having seen that one, you are thinking that this is pleasurable. That's how you sort of get pleasure. But for you to have that pleasure, the next moment when you look at that person should be there in the same posture. And it is not going to happen. That person is going away. Even that person remains in the same posture, that person is subject to aging. And your eye is subject to aging. So then you can't meet the two. What are the two? You can see eye and the form. So then someone wise will understand that if I can't make 2 things to come together, how can I make 3 things come together? What is the third one? The eye consciousness. Eye, form and the eye consciousness, meeting of the 3 is the contact. So now you understand I can't do that one. Now it is like this, you are looking at a woman on the left side when you are going on a street, and a beautiful person, and then the right side another beautiful one is coming up. So that means you need to take your eye from that person and look at the other one. So intelligent person would see, I can't make 2 things come together, eye and the form. How can I make 3 things, eye, form and the eye consciousness? So it looks like that we are trying to do, our volition is to do something that is impossible, that you get sick. So from the second part, you can see you get 2 results over here. That is aging. You like to keep on eating. If you are doing that one, then you are subject to, your taste buds are going, so aging. And you don't get the same taste as before, then you get the sadness over here. And I said that we are trying to do something That is impossible, that is your volition, and therefore you get sick. And then you have the sorrow because of that one. And one person, one grandfather was telling me that, son, when I was young, I used to climb up the roof, and then I change tiles as well, and I get down. Nowadays, if that grandfather's house is broken, a tile is broken, now he is thinking, old days I climb up and do that one. Now he can't even walk, he need a stick to walk. So now he is sorrowing because of that one. So now this is a sick person. What happens? Sick person constructs something. That is, that person is constructing the consciousness. That is sort of a sick consciousness, isn't it? And that will have a lamentation nature. One good example is that, let us say a mother is sick, and then so she is sleeping, and then maybe 12 o'clock lunchtime, her son, maybe 5-year-old boy, is coming around, near the bed. So mom is looking at the boy and think, oh, this person, he is actually coming here because there isn't anything for him to eat. So mom will go and then cook something for the boy, and then you eat, and then she is going to the bed again. So this son is now playing with the food, and father is asking, why you are doing that? Then says, this food is not tasty. Because mom is sick, mom could not put salt and lime and all those things to make that taste, this one tastier. So that is the sick person's work, is just a sick thing. So you can see, when the sick person constructed consciousness, that consciousness has the lamentation nature. So the answer to that will die. That this work is not going to last, so there is death, and then we have the lamentation. So now we have come up to 8 terms from the bottom over here. That is the birth, aging, sickness, death, pain, sadness, sorrow, and lamentation. So if you have come over here, you have come over here to the 4th jhana, concentration with a noble understanding. Your understanding is coming over here. How can I get the pleasure? When I look at someone, that person should be there in the same posture, which is impossible. So it's a great understanding in that one. So that is the 4th jhana. So then from the 4th jhana, then you are coming to this, what is called Dhammanupassana, mindfulness regarding the doctrine. So this mindfulness regarding the doctrine has got 5 parts explained in Satipatthana Sutta. The first one is that the contemplation about these 5 hindrances. Remember, we learned about the sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and doubt yesterday with Vammika Sutta. So in the Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha was saying, when the sensual desire is present, that one should be aware that sensual desire is present. And when it is absent, you should know properly that it is absent. And you should know how the unarising sensual desire come to arise, how the arising sensual desire be abandoned, how the abandoned sensual desire in the future not come to arise. So we have done some part of that meditation yesterday with Vammika Sutta. It is a complete meditation you can do with the Findole diagram. Remember, we were looking at the Sata Sata diagram. So using that one is available on the internet, you can do. So the second meditation is about these 5 aggregates of clinging. And then you look at the arising and passing away phenomena of that one. So that we did. We did first day with the dead body, remember? One seek delight, one welcome, one remain holding. And then we did this one on the third day for feeling and perception, and then you can do for all the other ones as well. So the third meditation is about the spheres of perception, ayatana pabbha. That is, there you know I, and then you know the form, and then you know the bondage arising depending on the two, I and the form. You know ear, and you know the sound, and you know the bondage arising depending on the two. Again, yesterday we learned what the bondage is. Potali Sutta. The Buddha said, the killing, stealing, those things are bondage. They are hindrances as well. So, with the Potali Sutta, we have done part of that meditation, but we are not covering that one completely in this course. We do cover that one in a special meditation session. So, then the fourth one is the 7 factors of enlightenment, Saptabojjhanga. So this, I will tell you 2 discourses for the 7 factors of enlightenment. In Bojjhanga Samyutta, there is some discourse called Sila Sutta, that is a virtuous discourse. It's not the one that you were looking at this morning. In that discourse, Buddha is saying, it is really good for a monk, a virtuous monk, to go after an arahant. And Buddha is saying why it is, because that arahant is actually telling this monk, virtuous monk, that some Dhamma. So having heard this Dhamma, this monk is going sort of seclusion and then contemplate what that monk was telling, the arahant was telling. So when you do that one, then this factor of mindfulness, they come to arise, and that one is coming to the development and the fulfillment of this monk. So what that person is doing, having heard this Dhamma, think it over, and then the mindfulness arise and it develop, it come to the fulfillment. So what this monk is telling, the arahant is telling this monk, is this Dhamma is that dependent origination. You know, like the concentration discourse you were looking at, that's a dependent origination. So that is the Buddhist meditation. You know, that is mentioned in Bojjhanga Samyutta. You need to think it over. Isn't that what we were doing starting from the first day? So we take Dhamma and think and pondering, and that is Buddhist meditation. So in the dependent origination, so you get the mindfulness coming to arise, that is Sati Sambojjhanga, factor of enlightenment. And then that Dhamma part over there, dependent origination, it says, because of the existence, birth come to be. So the wise person now pick it up, and so he's with wisdom, he is investigating this one. So the factor of enlightenment, that investigation, is coming to fulfill this monk. So it is coming to arise, and it develop, and it is coming to the fulfillment. So you can see from the mindfulness, sati, you got the investigation. So when you investigate, you see the existence, because of the existence, birth, but birth is suffering. You see, when you are in a place where it is so hard, suffering, and then you feel like I'm going to go away from this place, go to another country or something, so you get the effort. So the factor of enlightenment, effort, is arising, and it is coming to the development, it is coming to the fulfillment of this monk. So now you can see 3 things. From the mindfulness, investigation of the truth, then you get the effort. So if you have effort, you don't need to think, let there be rapture for me. It's a Dhamma law. Because of the effort, rapture come to arise. So the enlightenment factor, that is the rapture, is coming to arise and it get developed and then it is coming to fulfillment. So there are 4 factors now. From the mindfulness to investigation of truth, and then we get effort. From the effort we get rapture. So when you have rapture, now let us say you are sitting down on this chair and it is painful. So you feel like getting out of the chair and go. And if there is a rapture, then you are happy to be here. Because you are happy, you don't feel, you are not having any attention to bottom part of your body or back part of your body. So not only that, that is your bodily tranquility. Not only that, you get this, you are thinking about, if you don't have the rapture, you are thinking about, let me find a comfortable chair in this place. So your mind is wander around in this building. Where is the comfortable chair? So if the rapture is there, you don't need to find other chairs. It is okay. The happiness is, you have found it over here. Now, that means that mental tranquility. So that means you are happy. You have the bodily happiness and the mental happiness in that case. The tranquility is there. So that means if you are happy, your mind is inwardly composed. It is not going for looking for chairs and so on. The mind is inside you, is available to you. In that case you get the happiness. From the tranquility you get happiness. So the tranquility, enlightenment factor of tranquility come to arise and it is getting developed and it come to the fulfillment. From the tranquility you get pleasure. Because of the pleasure you get concentration. So the enlightenment factor of concentration in come to arise and it come to development and it come to the fulfillment. Now the concentration we are talking about, let's say third jhana concentration, you have the pleasure. Now you are thinking the pleasure is temporary thing. The actual thing is suffering. So this temporary thing will cease, suffering will come to arise in the next moment. So then you get the equanimity to the pleasure that has arisen. So you get this fourth jhana concentration and you have the upekkha, equanimity remains. So those are the 7 factors of enlightenment. And then there is a very short discourse. In that discourse is called Shaya Sutta in Pali. In that discourse, very short discourse, Buddha is saying, if someone develop these 7 factors of enlightenment and then develop and come to fulfillment, then that person's craving fade away, and then also the kamma fade away. By fading away of this craving and kamma, then he attained Nibbana. That's all is written over there. And it was Sampati Mahabrahma who explained this one to me. He said that, person who attained to the 4th jhana concentration, there is something that person does not know. He knows the arising phenomena of that concentration. Before the meditation subject, he did not have the concentration. But he does not know the passing away phenomena. For example, Alar Kalam, when he into higher jhana concentration, then he thought, this is it. After death I will be there, and that is the final thing. So, if this 4th jhana person sort of see one day someone in the 4th jhana realm passing away from that one, that would be really good thing, fortunate thing for him. If he actually sees such a thing, then he is not giving value to the jhana concentration. Jhana concentrations are, volitional formations, chitta sanskara. made from the mind. So those mind formations, we are constructing it from the perception. So since the mind formations are dying, this person is not giving value to perception. It is like, old days carpenter is very arrogant. They are actually thinking, that these the equipments like tables, almirah and so on, they are lasting. They are lasting in the sense your parents, as they have passed away, but you still have some sort of almirah, in your house, and it is 100 years old, so old, still lasting. Nowadays these goods are not lasting like that one, because they make from this really good, teak type of wood and so on, expensive ones. And then, so this carpenter is normally writing down. If you look at your almirah, old almirah, inside there is a sort of a wood piece. He has written down, I am the carpenter, I did this one on such and such a date. So when this person is sort of proud about his creation of this almirah and so on, one day he get a fortunate thing, that is, when he is going on a street, he see one of those almirah or something that his father or grandfather constructed is there on the street, thrown out, with the name is there as well. So then he understand these things that we construct, they are breaking. So earlier, when the carpenter is normally see sort of a tree or wood piece, he get the smell of that one as well. He thinks, I can make, almirah table out of this one. Now what he is saying? Now he is saying, sir, these things are no use. When we make this, furniture, they will break. So the carpenter is not giving a value to the wood piece, because this almirah and things are breaking. So consider the carpenter's wood piece as the perception. The carpenter's table and almirah sort of thing as the mind formations, jhana, of the person who attaining the jhana concentration. So likewise, this person with the jhana concentration, he is not giving a value to perception. So how do we get craving? We get craving by giving a value to a feeling from the perception. It's like perception value and feeling value, we multiply together, you get craving. Simply you can think that way. But the feeling value is a very tiny thing. Remember, we were learning yesterday, like water dropping, and then it's flashing, it's lasting for a millisecond or so. So if the perception value is also very small, 0.0001 or something, you multiply the two, answer is very small. So the craving subsides. On the other hand, there is this one of the knowledges of the Buddha again. Buddha is saying, if you are turning away from perception, then you are turning away from volition. If you are turning away from volition as well as the perception, then you are turning away from consciousness. When you are turning away from consciousness, you are turning away from perception as well as the volition, both. If you are turning away from perception, volition and the consciousness, then you are turning away from something called Yathabhuta Jnana, the seen as really it is. If you are turning away from seeing something as really it is, then you are turning away from all the other three. That is perception, volition and the consciousness. And if you are turning away from four things, that is perception, volition, consciousness, as well as this seen as it really is, yatha bhuta jnana, then you are turning away with liberation. When you are turning away with liberation, you are turning away from all those four. So now you can see, if you are turning away from perception, you are turning away from volition. Because of the volition you get kamma. So then now you can see kamma will subside, go away. So now the craving is gone, kamma is gone, then that person come into the extension, that attaining Nibbana. So although you meditate, you are not actually exceeding that carpenter's discussion over there. You are always coming to that carpenter's thing. It's a very valuable thing. So now that is the Bojjhanga, 7 factors of enlightenment. And then the last one in Satipatthana Dhammanupassana, mindfulness regarding the doctrine, is the Four Noble Truths. So we started with the last one of that one is the Eightfold Path. So we started with the Eightfold Path meditation. What we have been doing so far is looking at the parts of this one. Now you have come to the last part of that meditation. So all this mindfulness regarding the doctrine and the complete mindfulness given in Satara Satipatthana, you can represent it using 3 things. And that is this, the wisdom of this Araham Sinnakhanita Brahma realm. So here, you can write down 1 for the physical nutriment. So number 1 is the physical nutriment. For number 2, remember I was talking about there is this sort of a bridge between self and to the permanency over here. So you draw a line from self in the 3rd column to the permanency over there. So just write the self on the left side and the right side is the permanency, and then so there is a bridge. So for that bridge, let's say arrow, so you put number 2. And then birth, and there is aging. So you draw an arrow from birth to aging, and to that arrow you give number 3. These 3 things represent the complete, these four foundations of mindfulness. These 3 things. If you know about this Satipatthana Sutta, and more you look at it, you would see, yes, this is remarkable thing. It is actually showing you that mindfulness in a nutshell. So now, let us start with the 3rd arrow. So you can see you had a baby type body, birth, and then it is now subject to aging. So what is there for you in the next? In the pipeline, what you get is sickness, what happened to your grandfather, grandmother and so on, and the death. So if there is death, then is there any permanency? There is no permanency. So in that case, number 2, focus on the number 2, self to the permanency. The permanency is gone. So therefore, this bridge is, fallen. So now you are holding as self. What am I holding? It's just physical nutriment, number 1. So from 3 to 2, 2 to 1, physical nutriment. So now you understand you can't live with this physical nutriment. Why? Because you died last time, and then you got a birth. That's how you got this body. And then it is already subject to aging. So I am going to get the sickness and death. So if I take this form again, physical nutriment, then it will be the same. So that means I am now fed up, isn't it? Because I come to this I got 8 parts over here. Birth, aging, sickness, death, pain, sadness, sorrow and lamentation from my 4th jhana concentration meditation. Now I have a distress. So now I throw out this physical nutriment. I can't live with that one. Like in Potali Sutta, the anger and despair scenario over there. So you throw it out. Kodupayasa. So when you throw it out, then you are going to formless sphere, Arupa Dhyana. So when you go to the formless sphere, isn't that the best place to have this skill state of the mind? Why? Because in the formless sphere, in the spaces infinite level, you don't have any, anything to kill. There is nothing to steal. So now you can understand that is the best place. So isn't that we are where we are now? You see, that is, we did the mindfulness regarding the doctrine. Now we are in the 4th abiding, formless concentration. That's what happened. You see that mindfulness, 3, 2 and 1. You throw out the form, now you are in the formless. Before we go there, this is this formless concentration over here, Arupa Dhyana. We need to write down this Dhammanupassana, or the mindfulness regarding the doctrine, in that diagram. You see, in this diagram, there is an arrow from sense of shame and going to the fear of wrongdoing. That arrow is the mindfulness regarding doctrine, or Dhammanupassana in Pali. So you can write down that line, mindfulness regarding doctrine. So it is this arrow, sense of shame to fear of wrongdoing. So when you do that one, then you understand all formations are impermanent, subject to suffering. So you don't have any doubt about it. If you don't have this doubt, then you get the higher wisdom over there. So, this Gatha, anger, untruth and doubts, and this Gatha is coming next. So, let's go back to the documents that we were talking about. So, we throw away, we had the mindfulness regarding the doctrine. So, we come to the formless sphere concentrations. And this Gatha, anger, untruth and doubts, these states arise merely because of the existence of the duality. Sata, asata. Remember the enticing object and the pleasurable feeling. Let a doubter train himself by way of knowledge path to understand these states as taught by the recluse. So here, trained by higher morality, and that is this Adhisila Siksha. Remember, we described that one. A householder should have these 5 precepts, and if you are following through eightfold path, you got to have 7. That is, refrain from lying, not only lying, harsh speech, frivolous talks, and slander. So, if you are going to have this right livelihood, then you got to have quite a lot of those precepts, and the monk should have quite a lot of precepts. So that is the trained by higher morality. And then trained by higher thought, Adhichitta Siksha, that is 1st jhana to 4th jhana. That is where we started this journey about this in Sukha Patipada, decent way with quick realization. And then the trained by higher wisdom, Adi Prajna Sikha. So that is the understanding, the arising and passing away phenomena using the concentration meditation. That wisdom should be there. So to this one, there will be 5 words. So we will write down those 5 things. First one is called, in Pali it's called Shraddha Adimuchyati, and in English it says resolve faith upon training. Resolve faith upon training. resolve faith upon training. So what that mean? You see, in the university there are these courses. You need to do this chemistry, physics, mathematics, whatever thing it is, for you to get this particular degree. And similarly, you can see in a training college, they say you need to this training so that you can get the training certificate. In your office also they are saying that you need to do this course so that we can give you a promotion. Likewise, Buddha's dispensation also, there are these courses. It hasn't got so many, like in the uni, you got only 10. So if you pass them, then you don't do any degree. You don't have to forever. You don't have to do any degree. What are those? Those are the 10 skill state of the mind. That. So the things bad things we do, killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. So you refrain from that one. And the verbal bad things, lying, harsh speech, frivolous talks and slander. So you get rid of that one. And then bad things we do from mind, wrong view, covetousness and ill will. And those are the courses. If you pass them, you don't do that one, then you get the 10 skill state of the mind. So that is easy, isn't it? So let us see whether it is easy. So there's a next word coming. The second one you need to write down is exerting energy upon them. Exerting energy upon them. What does that mean? Them means those courses, 10 courses. So let us say that you have a baby and that baby is in a cot sleeping. And so it's a good chance for you to go and get some this, katuru burunga or whatever things that you are eating outside. And then you go there with some sort of axe or something, and then you cut down that part of the tree, and then you come with a happy mind. When you are coming home, then you see a snake, wrapping around in that cot, and then actually is pointing out at the baby. So you got a knife or something in your hand, you can kill that. But if you do, then you are failing the exam. Now you can see whether you have that sort of effort, isn't it? It's not easy. Whatever the thing it is, you can't kill that animal. If you do that one, then you are failing the exam. We don't have that much effort, isn't it? But the Buddha had. When Bodhisattva sat down under the tree, even this, flesh is gone away or whatever, I am not going to get up from this seat until I become enlightened. So that is exerting energy upon them means that I am not going to fail, I am going to pass them. And then the third one you need to write down, establishing mindfulness upon them. In Pali it is called Satingupattapetta. Establishing mindfulness upon them. So them means those courses. So let us say you are in a training college. It is 8:30 now, 9 o'clock lecture start. But it is raining cats and dogs. So what would you do? Would you, go under the quilt and sleep, or would you get up and then go, whether it is, thundering or whatever it is, I don't care, I'm going for this lecture. So that is the wise person, do that way. If I don't go, then I will fail the exam. So that mindfulness, in that case, you can see, It is to not neglectful about the effort. In the effort part you were saying, then I'm going to pass this on. So you can actually even write down what is this mindfulness in this case, is then not neglectful about the effort. And then the fourth one is, in Pali it's called Chittan Samadhanto. That means concentrating cognizance upon them. Concentrating cognizance upon them. Again, them means those causes. So, let us consider for a moment that is consciousness is another person. So now you are saying, come, let us concentrate and not do killing. Let us concentrate and then not do stealing. So in other words, you are actually concentrating your mind for not doing killing, stealing and so on. You know that if you are not concentrated, then you are actually doing a mathematical sum when a mosquito is coming and you are killing that one. That means you don't have the concentration. If you have the concentration, then you don't do that one. So that is what is meant by concentrating cognizance upon them. And every day you are doing that one, isn't it? You are saying, I am refraining from this killing, stealing. That is the precept that you are taking. You are concentrating your mind. Chittan samadhanto. They are concentrating. And then the fifth one is prajñāya pajānato in Pali. In English it is understanding them with wisdom. So you need to write down understanding them with wisdom. Now that one has got a sort of a bigger meaning, in the sense that, sometimes students are saying, follow a course for 2 years or so in the uni, and then say, oh, this course is useless. Even if I do, I can't get a job. It is difficult for me to do this course as well. I will go for another course. So here, with the wisdom that you are saying, no, it's not chemistry, physics, mathematics I should do. I should do that these 10 skill states. I am refraining from killing, stealing. That should be the one that I should be following. So it has got a greater meaning. But for that one you need to understand this Girimananda Sutta, these perceptions. I can simply tell this one, whatever you construct, the carpenter is constructing a chair and he finds that it is getting broken. So carpenter is not giving a value to any pieces. Another example is that, remember that you are going for looking at the grandma, and then grandma is sick, and at that room you are coming out, or she is going to die in 1 or 2 years time, and in that house somebody is carrying a baby wrapped around with clothes, and then you are saying, oh baby, something like a light coming over there. The theory that you apply to the grandma did not apply to the baby. Why is that? Because that permanency is making you consider the baby as sort of beauty. So if you have developed your wisdom, and with the developed wisdom, because you know impermanence, subject to suffering and so on, not self, with that understanding, it's like a wisdom bucket of wisdom. And then you look at that baby and beauty, there's no beauty. Because of your permanency, impermanency is there, then you understand the baby is excrement, urine and so on. So that sort of a understanding is there in Prajñāya Pajānato. So we were talking about these 5 words over here. That is, we were talking about Saddhādi Muccati, resolve faith upon training, and then exerting energy upon them, and establishing mindfulness upon them, and concentrating cognizance upon them, and then understanding them with wisdom. What are we talking about here? We are talking about these 5 faculties, the faculty of The mindfulness, when we say resolve faith upon training, it is the faith, faculty of faith. And we are talking about exerting energy upon them, that is the faculty of effort. And then when we are saying establishing mindfulness upon them, that's the faculty of mindfulness. When we are saying concentrating cognizance upon them, we are talking about this faculty of concentration. And when we are saying understanding them wisdom, that is the faculty of wisdom. So you can see those 5 faculties we are talking about. How do we get those good 5 faculties? It's by 10 good, 10 skill state of the mind. With the faith I said, this is the course. And then with the effort, you are saying, I am going to pass this on. And then in the mindfulness, is saying, I am not going to be neglectful about it. And then the concentration, you are saying, I am going to concentrate on these 10 things, not anything else. And then in the wisdom, you are saying, yes, this is what we should be following. So when you do that one, then you come to this 4th right endeavor. So here he rouses his will, makes an effort, sears of energy, exerts his mind and strives to maintain wholesome mental states that have arisen, not to let them fade away, to bring them to greater growth, to the full perfection of development. So that is the 4th effort. So here someone, in the 3rd effort you are trying to be a noble person, so you are putting effort to attain. And having attained that state, this person knows that he has to maintain it and not to let them fade away. He is not getting confused that, this is Nibbana, but he knows, your stream entry, one straight another, that sort of state, I have to maintain so that I can go to next stage of attainment. And what is helping? It is that Anurakkana Pradhana, that is the protect path and fruits of attainment. This includes preservation. So the preservation is that, let us say, you were using this skeleton meditation, and having done that one, you go into higher concentration, let us say formless sphere concentration, Arupa Dhyana. And having gone there, if you think that this skeleton is the one that letting me come over here, and then if you actually focus on the skeleton, what will happen? You are coming to the form sphere, Rupa Dhyana. So over there you should be thinking, what I need is Nibbana, not this concentration. So then you are coming to this 4th right endeavor. So over here there is a problem, isn't it? Here we are talking about some sort of effort. So previously we were talking about 5 faculties. The effort included in that one, together with wisdom, concentration and so on. So why we have this one? Then I asked Sampati Mahaprabhu, why 5 become 1 over here? Then he asked me, what will you do if your mother passed away when you are small? That's how he teaches this Dhamma. So I was thinking, actually it took about a day for me to think and understand what he meant. And you see, what would you do if your mother passed away when you are small? You somehow survive, isn't it? The mother is the form. So that mother passed away means that you are getting rid of the form. The form is not there, then you are in the formless sphere. So now you are maintaining the formless sphere attainment. So you see, we need effort. Without the effort you can't do anything. You can't even stand up from the chair either. You can't learn. With the effort, what are you actually going to get? And normally, human beings, they are thinking about the form. I had when I was in the hostel, there was a student who is doing commerce. And he is going to commerce classes in the morning, lectures. In the afternoon, he is going to chartered classes. And night time, he is studying very well. And then, having seen him, I said, yeah, you got so much courage to do these things. And it's good that you keep it up. and get the fruit out of it. He said, yes, I'm going to do that one. So from the form, from the effort, so you are trying to get something, like a good job, good money, a Benz car and good food and so on, isn't it? That's what you are saying. You are looking for something best. But when you think about the form, what is the best in a form? You see, when they advertise on TV, they advertise spacious room. The accommodation rooms, they advertise spacious room. What are they saying? They are saying it is my room, the walls are not very, very close and it is sort of far away. So in other words, the best out of this form is not to have the form. That is, the space is infinite. So when the space is infinite, then there is this feeling associated with the space is infinite. So what is the best out of that one? So that is not to have that feeling. That is, you were contemplating impermanence little while ago, isn't it? So that means consciousness is infinite. In the consciousness is infinite, there is a feeling. So what is best out of that one? That means not to have that feeling, not to have any, the memories about that feeling, for example. I can give you another example. When I was meditating, one day I was in the 6th jhana, and all of a sudden, my heart is sort of creating a problem at once. But I didn't fall from that meditation. I kept on meditating. Time to time, although I don't feel any pain over here, my mind coming to this one, then I might have to go to hospital after this one. You see, the feeling is there, not there. But the perception about the feeling still persists. So the 6th jhana to 7th jhana means I don't have any perception regarding the feeling. I can have perception regarding other things, but nothing to do with the feeling. So that is the 7th jhana, the plane of nothing. So over there is this perception. So what is the best out of that thing? Perception. Not to have that perception. That is neither perception nor non-perception. That is the meditation you were doing a little while ago, isn't it? So over there are volitional formations constructing it. So what is the best out of that one from the volitional formation? Not to have volitional formation. That is Nibbana. So you can see this effort over here is nothing. It is not actually stopping anywhere. It is taking those faith, wisdom, concentration, mindfulness all together, carry with it, and then going to Nibbana, not stopping anywhere. So from this one, we are coming to the 4th wonderful and marvelous idea, that is the Noble Eightfold Path. From where this one coming? You see, so far we were talking about these 10 skill states. You are refrained from killing and so on. And we were talking about faculties, 5 faculties, faith and wisdom and so on. Now with the effort, then we are here with the Eightfold Path. So there must be a relationship between this 10 skill state of the mind to Eightfold Path. There is such thing. Let us look at that one. And I can show you that one in a diagram. So before we are talking about the skill states, we are talking about unskilled states. So here you can see there are 10 things that you do, bad things from the mind, wrong view, ill will and covetousness. And the bad things you do from your mouth, this wording, lying, harsh speech, frivolous talks and slander. And the bad things from the body, killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. So those are the 10. And then there are relationship between them as well. From the wrong view you get ill will. From the wrong view you get covetousness. From the covetousness you get stealing. From the wrong you get sexual misconduct. And for example, from ill will, you get this harsh speech. So there are relationships. So that means I have wrong view, that ill will is a wrong thought, then wrong speech, wrong action, wrong livelihood, wrong effort, wrong mindfulness, wrong concentration. There are 8 things over here. That is against the Eightfold Path, Noble Eightfold Path. So now this particular path, are we actually traveling through this one? Some people, new person normally think that I am not going in this one because it's the Eightfold Path. But this is the path we always go through. Why? When you are meditating over here also, some people are not meditating every day, some people are doing it. And over here also you find the first 15 minutes is the best. You have the concentration, after that one you are going here and there. Most of the people attain to the noble attainment within the first 15 minutes of the meditation. So that is very important. You should give the best shot in your life for the meditation. Early in the morning, I'm not talking about getting up 3 o'clock or something. So you give the best shot if you are getting up before others are, getting up and making a noise. You get up. Let us say you are getting up at 6 o'clock. Let's do it at 5:30. So you get up, then have a wash or something, then you have a cup of tea if you want, then go and do the meditation. So when you are doing the meditation, for the first 15 minutes, it is working very well. And the second 15 minutes, then you get some sort of idea, oh, did I feed my dog? So did I do this thing also? So in that case, you are actually going through this wrong Eightfold Path. So that when I say this cake is yummy, I am going through this path. So this is the familiar path for all of us. Because you see, only when the Buddha is arising in the world, you can hear this Eightfold Path. Otherwise, we are in this wrong path always. So it's very rare for a Buddha to arise in the world. There are certain eras, as Mandaladipati Buddhivara told me, that there were time for 3,000 great eons, and there hasn't been a Buddha. So now you can see the wrong view. Then we have, because of the wrong view, we get the delusion. From the harm in thought, you get delusion. From the delusion, you get harm in thought, vice versa. From the sensual thought, you get lust. From the lust, you get sensual thought. Then ill thought, you get hate. From the hate, you get ill thought. So it's going back and forth. From the harsh speech, you get hate. From the hate, you get harsh speech as well. So what do we have here? Now you can see we have the wrong view, ill will, and so on. Those are the 10 unskilled state of the mind. Because of that one, we have the wrong Eightfold Path. And from the wrong Eightfold Path, you get lust, hate, and delusion. So there is a good one for this one as well. And that is, now we are talking about the skill state of the mind. So opposed to wrong view, we have right view. And that is the one you need to change, like a switch on, off to on, right view. So then the other things will align with it. From the right view, then you get the non-ill will, abhyapada, non-covetousness, and then refrain from lying, harsh speech, frivolous talks and slander. And refrain from killing, refrain from stealing, refrain from sexual misconduct. So they are linked to each other as well. From the right view, you get non-ill will. From the right view, you get non-covetousness. From the non-covetousness, that you are refrain from stealing. From the right view, you refrain from sexual misconduct. So that's all you need to do. You need to get rid of these things. So someone is asking, I am not killing anymore. What should I do? Should I give an animal something to eat. That is not included. You see, Buddha is not giving anything to those animals and so on. You are giving means you are doing volitional formations. What we are talking about today is the cessation of those volitional formations, not doing them. So now you can see there are connections here. From the right view you get non-delusion. From the non-will you get non-hate. From the non-covetousness you get non-greed. If you are refrain from harsh speech, then you get non-hate. So there are connections. From that one we get this eightfold path. In Pethakopadesa it says from the two parts of the eightfold path, that is the right view as well as the right mindfulness, is actually occurring from the root non-delusion, amoha kusala mula. So from non-delusion you can examine it and you can see that is correct, isn't it? In the right view we are saying is suffering, and the suffering is caused by craving, and the cessation of craving is the cessation of suffering. So there is arising and passing phenomena. That means it is impermanent. That means that you got the wisdom, that's non-delusion. Again, in the right mindfulness you are saying such is form, such is the arising phenomena of form, such is the passing away phenomena. So there is arising and passing away. So that means impermanent. So then it is right as well, non-delusion. And again you can see the three things: right thought, and then the right effort, and then the right concentration. Those three things come to arise depending on this non-greed, the root non-greed. So again you can see that one. Right thought is thought of renunciation, thought of non-malevolence, thought of non-harm. Thought of renunciation means you are giving up, so the non-greed. And then right effort, remember we were talking about that you are getting rid of the sensual thought, ill thought and harming thought. So if you are getting rid of sensual thought, that means we are talking about this non-greed again. And when you come to the right concentration, here a person aloof from the pleasures of the senses, aloof from unskilled state of the mind, enters and abide in the first jhana concentration with the initial application and sustained application. So what is the initial application? That not to have sensual thought, ill thought and harming thought. So that is in other words, the thought of renunciation, thought of non-malevolence, thought of non-harming. Those are the thoughts. So you are getting rid of those thoughts. That means non-greed. And these three things over here, that is right speech, right action, right livelihood. That is this virtue part is stemming from non-hate. The root non-hate. So now you can see we have got on the left side what we got is the 10 skill state of the mind, and then in the middle you get non-delusion, non-greed and non-hate, hatred, and then you got the eightfold path. So there is this connection. So this is very valuable, and you don't have to meditate in this particular moment about this one, probably later on. So for this one we were saying, I have faith. These are the courses I should be doing. And then you said, I put effort to pass them. And in the mindfulness you are saying, I am not going to neglect on this passing these ones. In the concentration you are saying, I will concentrate my cognizance to do this, pass these 10 courses. And with the wisdom you said, no, I don't want to do chemistry, physics. These are the courses to be done. So when you do that one, then you can see you are coming to this the Noble Eightfold Path. Now you came to Noble Eightfold Path through non-greed, non-hate and non-delusion. So then it is lasting. So that is what is called Upasamadiptana, the four determination. That the fourth determination, that the highest determination for calm. Raga, dosa, moha, upasamo. So here we explained this one earlier as well. So if there's a big rock the wind is blowing in various directions, it won't shake. So likewise, it's coming from greed, hate, delusion, it does not shake. Or else, let us say you are inside a fortress, and then the three enemies are trying to creep in. And so there are three guards, they are not letting anyone come in inside this fortress. So if one of them come, then you can see there is a fight. Soldiers got to fight them. So who are those three enemies? Greed, hate and delusion. So if they are not there, then the calmness will prevail inside the fortress. So then you get this concentration due to investigation, that is seen as impermanent, suffering and not self. So having known this one, then you get rid of greed, hate and delusion all together. So this concentration due to investigation, if I touch upon that one, remember over here we were talking about, we wrote down 5 words, isn't it? And what we were actually talking about, to have these skill states and not to have killing sort of thing. But when you kill someone, then death will occur. So the killing person will not understand death as a suffering thing. Similarly, if someone is stealing, that person will not understand that birth as suffering. Because you are stealing means you are going to mother's womb, you are stealing those sperms over there from the mother. So then you can see that you would not understand the birth as suffering. So you can apply this one to completely all those 10 skill states to the birth, aging, sickness, death. For example, if someone having sexual misconduct, he would not understand this aging and sickness as suffering. Okay, you can sort of think about that one. So you would not understand. So but over here, we are saying seen as impermanent, seen as suffering. Now you would understand. If you are not doing killing, then you understand that death is suffering. How can you understand while killing? How can you understand that death as not suffering? You would understand. When you are killing, you understand it as a good thing. Death as a good thing. But if you are not doing it, then you understand, yes, death is suffering. So you can little bit think about it. So this concentration due to investigation has got 2 enemies. The 2 enemies are, one is conceit, the other one is the ignorance. So just imagine you are inside the fortress, and let us say there is some sort of a thuggery soldier over there, and what that person is saying, oh, you should have let them come in, I could have looked after them, I could have killed that one. There are people like that one with the arrogance, I'm not afraid and I can do that sort of thing. But when you have concentration due to investigation, you are not going to say that one, because you know that I am impermanent. How can I say you let him come? Because I might die. As soon as he is entering the gate, I am impermanent. I might die. So he is not going to say such a thing. And so therefore, then you are coming to something called relinquishment of all. That is this, the all means it's not chemistry, physics, mathematics all together. It is eye and the form, ear and the sound, and you can see eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and then the mind and the mental phenomena, the idea. Those 12 things are the all, nothing else. Buddha said, if someone says, I will sort of declare all apart from these 12, then when he was questioned, he wouldn't be able to even answer that one. So this is the relinquishment. A relinquishment over here is that not a simple relinquishment. You see, sometimes people are saying that I'm refrained from killing now. I don't kill anyone. But the night time, when they are going to sleep, they put a rod underneath the bed. If someone is coming, I am going to hit the robber or something like that. Here we are talking about, leaving out those rods. When we are talking about killing, because of killing, then you would not understand that death is suffering. Having understood that one in the investigation is concentration due to investigation path. Now he is thinking not only killing, not only stealing, I should be giving up. I should be giving up my eye here. We have made our eye here so sort of prepared to look, to hear, and so on. Like that you are laying down the rod, we should be laying down our eye, ear, nose, tongue. So that is up to that level. So this is something called Sukhabhagya Dhamma. That is, there are 4 things that allow you to get this sort of happiness. And you need to look at from the every patipada, every painful ways, pleasant ways, and so on. In the first path, which we discussed yesterday, the painful way, slow realization, what was the 9th part? Because this is the 9th one. What was the 9th one over there? That is a restraint of faculties. So if you are restraining faculties, then you are not going to look at these forms. You are not going to lend your ear and so on. So then that means the consciousness cannot go and hold the form. So therefore consciousness will lose the first house. The house of consciousness is the form, first one. And in the second one, that dukkha patipada kippavijjam, painful with quick realization. There the 9th one is these 4 powers, spiritual powers, iddhipada. So over there, because of these powers, spiritual powers, you are not reacting to the feeling. So that means the consciousness cannot go and hold the feeling. So therefore consciousness will lose the second house, that is the feeling. Third part you have not done, that is this pleasant way with slow realization. In that one, what we have as the 9th one is the Saptabojjhanga, 7 factors of enlightenment. So you remember carpenter's example. So the carpenter is not, sort of giving a value to perception because of the upekka, equanimity, this person with the concentration not giving a value to perception. Then the consciousness cannot go and hold the perception. So the consciousness lost 3 houses now. So what is left now is, because of the volitional formation, consciousness is getting constructed. So now that is the 4th house. To get rid of the 4th house, you need to get rid of this eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, because they are the one actually generating this, volitional formations. And the volitional formations in terms generate this, look, see, and so on. Like the rod is, not inside, underneath your bed, put down. Likewise, you need to put down your eye, ear, nose, all those things. So, when you do that one, remember you are in the fortress. And if you are not letting anyone come in, then what are you protecting? You are protecting, the volitional formations of those people inside, isn't it? But just imagine, now, if there is, experiment in your garden, would you construct a big parapet wall and have put a big gate and put a guard to protect it? You wouldn't. But if you understand, if you remove your ignorance and the conceit, then you understand what is inside the fortress. The excrement, urine, that sort of thing from these people, isn't it? Nothing valuable. Because of you don't have conceit, because the concentration due to investigation, if you get rid of this one, coming to the relinquishment part, then you are not looking for anything to see, anything to hear, and so on. And then what is there is just excrement and urine. You are not going to protect it. So then you are jumping out of the fortress. Because inside also excrement and urine, outside also excrement and urine. There is nothing to protect over here. So then if you do that one, then you go beyond the fortress, you get the measureless state of equanimity. That is equanimity about all volitional formations. Well, if someone actually says for an Arahant, no, I will kill you, then Arahant says, okay, go ahead. Because he understands there is nothing to protect. But because we have conceit, we think it's worth protecting and sort of scenario. So it's like, that if a carpenter wants to make a sort of door frame or something, if you ask him to create a door over here, then he would use these tools and, dig somewhere, and then you do that one, removing it. And you know where to hit from the Vammika Sutta. 4 great elements. Remember? We start from that one and then removing the machine. So likewise he will remove that one. So let us say from this piece of paper here, so you remove the form part, and then the feeling part, and then the perception part, and then the volitional formation part. So what you left with is just a frame, simple frame. If you just, from your fingertip, you can break. But when there is this something here, in the middle, you can't do that one. So you remove all those things. You are not, looking at the form, not letting the consciousness establishing in feeling and so on. Then you can actually get out of the fortress. So you have the equanimity. So you are spreading equanimity. Like the loving kindness scenario, we are spreading the equanimity. So sometimes people feel that this one is so difficult, but it is not difficult. But if I say you are coming for 4 things from one meditation, that is, you are starting with the present ways quick realization, and the 4th meditation, mindfulness regarding the doctrine, and the 4th abiding, that is this formless concentration. All 4 can be done in just one meditation. And that was the meditation we were talking about. So how do you do this one? You start with the physical nutriment, and then you spin with the barb of lust, and you establish your consciousness in a canal of urine and excrement. That means you go bad way through will, and then you got a baby type body. That was subject to aging, sickness and death. After death, you are in the mind-made body. You have not eaten for many days, so you can see there is this pain. So the answer to the first one, you can see pain and the birth. And now pain is the one getting contacted, but foolishly we are thinking it is pleasurable. Now you investigate, you analyze, how do I get pleasure? When I go in a street, when I see a beautiful woman or beautiful person, then I get this pleasure. But for you to have that pleasure, that person should be remaining in the same posture. It's not going to happen. That person is going away, or even if that person in that particular posture, that person is subject to aging, and my I is subject to aging, so I can't maintain the two. That is the I and the form. We are thinking it is possible. It is not. And ponder about it. And then you are thinking, if I can't make 2 things come together, then how can I make 3 things come together? What is the third one? That is the consciousness. You got to have the I, the form, and the I consciousness. So if I can't make 2 things come together, how can I make third one? So then understanding that one, you understand that you are trying to do impossible task. That is what is called Vivekadasi Passesu in Pali. That means the person who understands this one, he is going from aloof from sensual pressures, aloof from skilled state, unskilled state, he is going to the first jhana concentration and above. The foolish person is always trying to do that one, which is impossible. So then you get sick. So let us say you are trying to keep on doing that one, then what is happening is aging. Like my grandfather, taste buds are gone. Now he can't get the same taste, so there is sadness. So two answers to the second column. Contact as nutriment column. Now I said that we are trying to do something that you cannot do. That is your volition to do something through meeting of the two. You can't do that one. So therefore you get sick. So now you are sorrowing, like that grandfather is sorrowing, I can't change the tiles in the roof or scenario. Now this sick person is constructing consciousness, and then you can see that consciousness, because a sick person's consciousness, that is guaranteed it will die. So there is this death, and well as lamentation is there. So if you have come up to over here, then you came to the fourth jhana with a noble understanding. So if you have come over there, then what you need to remember is that 1, 2 and 3. 1 is physical nutriment. The 2 is, remember we mark self to permanency. The third one is that birth to aging. So you start with the third arrow. So I myself subject to aging right now. You need to sort of pause at that particular point. The snapshot you are taking in the morning, keep it in your mind. I have already subject to aging. So what is next for me? Pause and then think. What happened to my grandfather, grandmother? And they got sick and they died. So the sickness and death. So if you are dying, then if someone is dying, can there be permanency? So there is no permanency. So then remember number 2, the self to the permanency. Now permanency is gone because of the death. That means this is fallen. So now what am I holding? Like as self. The rotten mango, isn't it? So that means physical nutriment. Now can I live with it? Potaliya Sutta 7, number 7. Think it that way. Previously I had a sort of a form. I could not live with it. And then this one already subject to aging. If I take another one, it would be the same. So then you throw out the form. That is, you are throwing out this physical nutriment. So when you throw out the physical nutriment, you are throwing out the form. That means you are in formless sphere. That is the meditation. So you can see you are here now. So 1, 2, 3, 4 all happen from that meditation. Formless concentration. Now what you need to remember is those 5 words, isn't it? That we were talking about, that concentrating cognizance and so on. Remember 5 words? The resolve faith upon training. So you can remember those 5. So that is 5 faculties. So from that one, then you can see we are coming to this effort to maintain the wholesome mental states. That is your attainment. And over here it is sort of easy for you to go for that example. Remember the best. What is the best for this form? The hotel example. Not to have the form. That is, space is infinite. So over there is a feeling associated with that space is infinite. What is the best out of that one? Then not to have that feeling. That is, consciousness is infinite. Over there also there is a feeling. So what is the best out of that one? Not to have any thing about any perception about that feeling. That means 7th jhana, plane of nothing. So over there is a perception. So what is the best out of that one? That is the neither perception nor non-perception. That is the 8th jhana. So over there is volitional formations. So what is the best out of that one? Not to have volitional formation. The Nibbana is the final one. So you remember that one, and then you are coming to the Noble Eightfold Path. So you understood the connection from the 10 skill state of the mind, that is not killing and so on, to the Eightfold Path, right to you to right concentration. You don't need to meditate on that one right now, but you can do it later on if you want, and it gives you very valuable things. So now we are in the Eightfold Path. We came to that one through non-greed, non-hate, non-delusion. So now that one is lasting. That the highest determination for calm. Remember fortress example. So if no one is coming, then it is calm. So then we have this concentration due to investigation. Here we see things as impermanent. Suffering, not self. For the suffering part you would understand. If I am killing, I would not understand the death as suffering. If I am not doing that one, then I would understand. If I am stealing, then I would not understand, the birth as suffering, because I am stealing. I am happy to do that one. It's okay for me to do. So you would understand. So now you come up to that level. And so you are happy to give up this, greed, hate, delusion. Then you come to the relinquishment of all. So here you need to think about first, second, third path as well. So over there we were saying, for the first one, what we have is restraint of faculties. Therefore, that I am not looking at the form at all. So now consciousness lost its first form. That is the form. And the second one, we have this Iddhipada, the spiritual powers. Therefore, we are not reacting to the feeling. So therefore, consciousness cannot steady on the feeling. And then second house, it lost its second house. Then when you come to the third one, that is Sapta Bojjhanga, 7 factors of enlightenment. Remember the carpenter's example, he is not sort of giving a value to a wood piece like that one. Because of the equanimity, you are not giving value to a perception. So the third house of consciousness is gone. So what is left now is the volitional formations. So these volitional formations, then we are giving those things. Now you need to remember about this, like that rod is not inside underneath your bed. And also you need to think that I don't have a safe or safe deposit box or somewhere. When I steal money from my work, by doing the work means it's stealing. When I take it, then I put it over there. I don't have any place to hide my key, the key to the house, that sort of thing. The rod is laid down. So if you live like that one in this particular movement, that means you are actually saying, I am putting down my eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. So in that case, then you are going to the measureless state of equanimity. So inside, remember that there is no one coming in. Then what are we protecting? Are we protecting excrement, urine and all those things? Actually that is what we are protecting, isn't it? So then you are going out of the fortress. So it is not that hard. From the first meditation you can go up to 4 things. So would you like to take 10 minutes or so to have a 10 or 15 minutes probably, have a short discussion, and then we will do the meditation?